you? You're insane!
Hello, and welcome to The Madhouse, episode 90. I'm Ultimate Spy 53, the host of this podcast, and joining me for this week's episode I have...
I'm Steven Kovoc, aka Steve Kovoc. I exist in this world, barely. I have had dreams about coming home, and I miss it. So yeah, that's nice.
I'm Chakky. I'm dating the guy you just heard. I'm weird.
My name is Kaylee, obviously. I'm back at it again with another podcast. I'm gonna do a quick PSA here. I have a cough right now, so yeah.
Cool.
I was dealing with a pretty nasty case.
Trust me, I've actually been sick on the podcast before. Not fun.
Yeah, I'm finally back. I was gone for a couple weeks, but yeah. Insert maniacal laughter here. Hi, I'm Luca.
Alright, so, what do you guys want to talk about this week for the podcast? Because I usually am the one who, says, okay, we're talking about this week, but do you have other ideas, or, because I had an idea for talking about the multiverse stuff, but if you guys one of you guys want to go first, that's cool.
Mate, I've been dying to talk about this new Solo trailer that we're going to be getting here in a few days.
I don't know when it's going to come. They haven't said anything yet.
February 5th I've been hearing. I follow 5 or 6.
They were going to I think they were going to release it on Wednesday, but they never did.
Solo.
I have heard that it's supposed to be one of the worst Star Wars movies to ever come out, but that's people saying...
People are just saying that because they've hated The Last Jedi.
Well, no, they're saying it because of the directors and stuff.
It's very silly.
They're saying it because of the directors and stuff. And how
Force Awakens and The Last Jedi are both very excellent movies because it's Star Wars, okay? The fan base needs to chill. This was the way people were with the prequels.
Mm-hmm.
I'm just going to say it right now. This was how they were with the prequels, and now look at this. People are actually starting to like it because they seem to hate The Last Jedi and The Force Awakens. By the way, I watched The Force Awakens. It was a beautiful movie.
Okay.
I loved it. I felt like I was watching Star Wars with it and Rogue One. Okay? I just want to say that don't listen to the hate. This is really worth it. I'm serious, and I have really high hopes for the trailer.
But the prequels aren't as bad as people think they are. They're alright. But, the worst part about them is the awkward dialogue. That's about
a very strong dislike of the prequels.
Here's the thing about that dialogue.
I just like some.
Okay, Steve, here's the thing about that dialogue. It was meant to be awkward because Anakin was a whiny ass little teenager.
I don't believe you.
No,
because I don't agree with you on that.
Supposed to be like that because that's how Anakin's character needed to be played. He was an awkward teenager who was trying to hit on Padme. Okay? Of course he's gonna be awkward.
Okay.
I loved it. It actually made his character very
Okay.
Very interesting. I don't agree with y'all, but okay.
Well, my thing was with the newer Star Wars, I saw it twice actually. First time I saw it, I had a lot of issues with it, in terms of pacing wise.
There
I
are
think
some
that.
problems.
Here's my thing. And I gotta admit with I didn't have this issue with Force Awakens, but I definitely did with Rogue One. But Rogue One and The Last Jedi both had the issues where they were too much unlike what I'm used to, too much unlike what I want in Star Wars films. But with these last two, they just had some inconsistencies, and they had some wasted scenes, and they just clicked everything together, even though there was no reasons for it. I mean, the entire scene with those animals running through the casino and whatnot, that could have been cut down to at least half of it. I understand why they had it in terms of expanding characterization.
Right.
But they wasted far too many scenes. Whether you like or dislike Force Awakens, I fucking loved it. It didn't.
Force Awakens was good.
It was beautiful.
Rogue One, it didn't waste a single scene either.
Don't talk about Rogue One yet.
I actually like The Last Jedi better than Force Awakens.
Indeed, yes.
I like I said, I had to see The Last Jedi twice. The first time I saw it because of all those wasted scenes where I didn't get any information. I didn't get anything for my money. I didn't get anything of why I wanted to see this movie. I didn't get anything why I went over, saw this movie on my birthday and waited 2 weeks to see the visit. I didn't get what I expected out of this movie, and I didn't get what I wanted the first time. The second time though, I knew what to expect. I knew what to expect from the film. I knew what characters to expect. And I gotta admit, it was kind of toned down a little bit more, and I enjoyed it more because I just sat back and watched that epic fight scene with Kylo and Rey.
Oh my god, yes.
Hands down that was hands down one of the most spectacular lightsaber fights in the entire series.
The entire franchise. Oh my god, that's saying something.
Well, that's my third favorite.
Okay.
Also, my favorite has to be Luke versus Vader the first time.
Oh my
Second
god.
one is Darth Maul versus Obi-Wan and Qui-Gon. Yeah, Obi-Wan and Qui-Gon, and then this one.
It was like the perfect example of the prequels and how developed the fights are. But I wanted to mention a little thing about this whole not getting what you expected. That was a lot of people. You noticed how many people were like theorizing about Snoke, about Rey, her parents and her origins and all that after The Force Awakens? A lot of people didn't get that. And I guess that part might be part of what pissed people off so bad, because basically there was a lot of hype that was unwarranted. All these theories were great, but you know.
I do have something. I
wasn't the series. I understand why they went along the route that they did.
Yeah.
Personally, I know that they're going to have to talk about either Rey's parents, or because very likely Kylo just lied. Kylo probably lied. I'm just putting it out there. And
I think that Kylo may have actually lied. Likely.
What did Kylo say?
He may have lied.
I was gonna pipe into something related to this. This is something actually a while ago. If you don't know the actor who plays Qui-Gon, Liam Neeson, he recently came out and said, and this is about the Obi-Wan movie. He said he would be interested in reprising. He said he would be interested to come back as the character.
Oh my god! Yes.
Yeah.
Who's coming back?
Qui-Gon, the actor who played Qui-Gon, Liam Neeson, he said he'd be up to reprising his role for Qui-Gon in a spin-off movie.
Well, he actually did.
He's a fucking guy.
Cool. I think he would probably do it, like, if he were to do it.
Yeah.
You know, I have a feeling he would probably do it either as, like, a Force Ghost, or probably,
Yeah, he did it. He did Qui-Gon in Clone Wars. He came back as a Force Ghost in Clone Wars, so that was really cool.
I understand that, actually. One, he actually did reprise his role.
Yeah, that's what I'm talking about. Yeah, he did that. It was really cool.
But
that was a nice episode.
That was great.
But that, though, he cannot come back as a Force Ghost because of that episode. Of what they talked about with Yoda, Yoda was technically the first actual definitive Force Ghost person, really. He's the first one that was ever able to come. I mean, he just the one that learned it, and then he just taught it all to Obi-Wan. He was the first one to actually do it.
Yeah, it's really interesting.
But still, it was Liam Neeson's character, Qui-Gon Jinn, who was like, okay, I'm going to learn this super secret thing. Woohoo! He completed training before he was killed by Darth Maul. So he can only appear as like an apparition in extremely force-sensitive areas like Dagobah and the place where those fates, whatever they're called.
Are you talking about the planet Luke was on? Because that was the first Jedi Temple, and that is very strong.
It wasn't the first one. It was a Jedi Temple.
No, if you watch the Clone Wars, the only places that he himself can really appear in are extremely force-sensitive areas, like where those fake people were. All those emotional
Right.
I still feel like he could go and reappear. Like, if there's this thing I remember reading about how you eventually lose your individuality. In that, but that was what they all thought. They didn't think you could even be a Force Ghost at one point. Until Yoda started getting contacted by Qui-Gon.
Yeah.
And pretty much thought he was freaking crazy.
That was crazy.
Pretty much, yeah.
So I personally think that if the places that Ahch-To being the site of the first Jedi Temple, which, yes, this is canon, it was the first. I think it could be possible, but I'm not sure why he would appear there, though. Considering Luke's dead now.
Would appear there now. They could have something like a flashback scene where Luke is actually talking to Obi-Wan, or talking to Qui-Gon. That's entirely possible, but
yeah.
So,
think about that one scene with Obi-Wan and Tatooine. I mean, that place, it had Anakin, but otherwise, it really wasn't that strong in the Force. Not as much as Ahch-To would be at any rate. So if Obi-Wan can appear there, with, I'd say it's totally possible.
Now, I wanted to shift topics. I know this is really interesting. We'll talk about it a little later if we can. But I was really wanting to shift topics on the idea of the multiverse, because there's a lot of movies and TV, especially like the Marvel stuff, that they have. Even though there's like not really like in Doctor Strange it was visited about the multiverse, but then people on Facebook would like take the Marvel movies that are not part of the Marvel cinematic universe, and they would label them as different Earths. Actually, the idea of the multiverse actually started on I think before Doctor Strange came out, and actually in the DC Universe show Arrowverse, which is comprised of Supergirl, Flash, Arrow, and Legends of Tomorrow. Even though you guys don't watch the show, I'm just gonna explain it as a reference point. I'm not gonna go into like details about the shows and stuff. I'm just gonna say this, that in the Flash there was, I think season 2 or something, they introduced the idea of the multiverse, which is the other Earths where you could have different versions of the characters. And so kind of like with the Marvel universe, where you have like both Spider-Mans, Andrew Garfield and Tobey Maguire, they could live on different Earths. And that's going to be how the multiverse would be explained. It's really interesting, and also it happens a lot with movies and TV where they have different versions of things or different realities. And I think it's really cool. Because Kaylee was talking to me earlier about kind of how it was with Star Trek and how that kind of, their episodes with that. And it's really, really quite cool, because there are episodes, at least one episode of Enterprise where there's some kind of reality and it's like, this isn't real. What am I at? This isn't real. It happens in The Flash, it happens in a lot of movies and TV shows. And I was thinking we could discuss it a little bit. I don't know if it'll happen in Star Wars, though. It might. I don't know. I don't know if it really is implied. I don't know if a multiverse really is in Star Wars, but...
In Star Wars? Hell no.
Yeah, I figured it wouldn't be.
It just doesn't fit.
It doesn't really make sense, either. Yeah, exactly. I mean, if it would happen, that'd be pretty cool, but I just don't think it would really make sense with the story they're telling.
But, since you mentioned Star Trek...
Yeah.
There is this one article I found on Wikipedia where it mentions a weird ship called the NCC-1701 being found on a certain planet. Don't remember which one it was. And, that was pretty cool. But since you mentioned Star Trek, I want to explain a little bit about how that's been found there. Now, we know about the reboot, otherwise known as the Kelvin timeline. It is the best example I know of in cinema right now of an alternate reality, because these are so we know about the first movie, which deals with Nero and the Narada incident, right? Well, that right there, that crucial event has caused the events of the reboots to split from that of the Prime line, which is basically the Prime timeline, right? I've literally written a 13-plus page essay on Into Darkness versus the Wrath of Khan, and I am like, this is something that's been on my mind, not including the bibliography, because this thing is an MLA format.
Wow.
Yes. Now, this alternate reality is a very good example of the many world theory, because obviously there are planets that are common to both of the timelines of a lot of things. But I really liked that example, and I figured that, if we're going to talk about multiverses and, that sort of, spacey stuff, we gotta mention it.
I mean, when I was talking about multiverse, there was also a show called Once Upon a Time that did it recently with the 7th season. It's just a weird thing where adult Henry, he's a character on the show, he grows up and he goes to a different realm where they have like different versions of the same, or of the more or less the same characters you saw in the previous 6 seasons. I'm so far I'm enjoying the show, but it's making no sense. How did this character get to this part of the realm? Like, new realms? What? Basically the same idea, multiverse, new realms, new worlds. It gets so complicated. I don't know how to explain it well. I mean, the Arrowverse is the only way to explain it. It's like, oh, there's another version of that same character. Okay,
That sounds like a lot of fangirls' dream come true, just saying.
It's kind of like with the DC shows right now. Arrowverse, they were wanting to have Tom Welling Superman on the show, but then but then they cast another Superman. It's like, oh wait, they could have Tom Welling from another Earth, possibly, but at the same time, with the whole multiverse thing, it's with the MCU tied in now with the Doctor Strange thing. It's like, oh, well, the multiverse could be explained by the movies that are not part of the Marvel Cinematic Universe. That could be on another Earth, different reality, because there's actually things like, oh, Earth 6258, whatever, kind of idea. I don't even know what It doesn't make any sense though, but it's interesting. I think it's really interesting to think about this stuff because I was talking to Kaylee about it, like, oh, it's in Star Trek, it's in Once Upon a Time now, it's in Marvel, it's in DC, it's all over the place in movies.
I know, right? This is like one of my favorite concepts.
Yeah,
in,
exactly.
Like, cinema.
I don't know if you guys really understood the concept of the multiverse because Neil deGrasse Tyson actually did a episode of Cosmos on the idea of that this Earth we're living on right now is one of many. It doesn't make sense at all, but it's really cool.
Many worlds theory, man.
Yeah.
It does make sense though.
It's pretty cool though, because this could be the one of many Earths. There could be another bigdinoguy somewhere else on another Earth. Imagine that character. I wonder how different bigdinoguy on that Earth would be different than
Wasn't there a movie based on that concept where like they sent people to like another Earth?
I don't know. It's just weird.
Aren't there a bunch of movies like that?
I don't know.
I think of one specifically though.
Can you describe it a little more? I feel like I've seen one like that
It's
before.
like there's this like blonde chick and like this like guy who like they're in love and they both get accepted into this program to like send you like to get sent to this other dimension.
Wow.
No, it's not the Matrix.
Westworld?
Not Westworld.
I don't even watch Westworld. It's just a Western.
Either.
People cared about Westerns anyway.
It's a Western with like a sci-fi twist.
I'm not really into Westerns because the
I
guns and
feel
stuff.
like is it that one where where the cowboy has like all the future tech?
Cowboy
I've heard of
Cowboy and Aliens.
Cowboy and Aliens.
Not that
Cowboy,
one,
yeah.
no.
Yeah, that's definitely not it.
But it's still really interesting because there's all these TV shows where you have an episode where they enter a different reality, like, oh, a what if statement, or heck, I could even throw Back to the Future into the mix of like they go to 2015, not the one we have now, because 2015, the one we had didn't actually have all this flying cars and stuff. It was a reality, or the movie Tomorrowland. Again, another reality possibility, but again, not gonna happen. I don't think
Have
we're
you
gonna
guys
have.
seen that multiverse Family Guy episode before?
There was. I mean, I don't watch Family Guy, but I could like watch a clip of it and be okay with it.
There's an episode where they explore the multiverse, and it
Oh
was
my god, I need to watch that.
Yeah, you definitely need to. But in that one, Meg, actually, in one of the universes, Christianity was never invented or anything like that. Never took part and whatnot. And they had all these flying cars.
Oh my god.
I remember that episode.
Oh my god, now I remember.
So beautiful.
And he was asked. Oh wait, no, that's not.
And then doesn't they have Meg? She's walking down. She's just like supermodel kind of.
Oh my
What
god.
movie is this called?
She's so
It's an episode of
ugly, right?
Family Guy where they show an alternate Earth where Christianity never took hold,
Yeah,
and
that's what I was
everything's just
How about
futuristic and progressive.
I mean, there was,
That's what
and
she said.
going back to that kind of the DC
Peter.
stuff. On the latest crossover, Cross on Earth X, it was actually a really interesting story. It was actually pretty awesome, kind of like Avengers level stuff. They had a different Earth called Earth X, which is where the Nazis were in World War One or Two. I think it was World War Two. It was really cool because you have all these different versions of you have Supergirl is married to Green Arrow, which makes no sense at all. But it's the idea of this Earth where everything is horrible. This is a designation, so it's just
Are you
wow.
talking about Man the High Castle?
No, I'm talking about one of the Arrowverse crossovers. I'm not going to go into details. I'm just going to explain why it's significant because they went to an Earth where it was so bad that it doesn't have a destination. Why it's called Earth X because the Nazis won the war. So or whatever. I know what the war was, but
And there also was another. So because we were talking about Star Trek beforehand, I'm going to also mention this. For any of you that have seen the old Star Trek shows,
I'm on the
some of
4th
you
episode. I want to say. I think
The
so.
only one that I don't know if they did in Deep Space Nine, but the only one that I've seen all the way through that they did not have it was Voyager, which fucking pissed me off. Was they had an alternate universe where everyone was basically bad guys.
What?
So after the events of Star Trek First Contact, I believe, basically the dude that invented the whole warp travel, instead of shaking the Vulcan's hand, shot him with a shotgun. And so after that, humans became the bad guys and whatnot. They had emperors and whatnot, and it was just fucking awesome.
You know, that kind of reminds me.
A yellow and black Earth, the sword going.
Oh, the Terrans! Oh my god,
Yeah.
yes, Mirror Earth.
Oh
Oh my god, I loved those episodes. You know, fun fact,
Oh, that happened in Doctor Who.
episodes-
Remember the episode of Doctor Who, Parallel Earth? That was awesome.
I know, right? But the fun fact, those episodes with the mirror universe are the only ones where the Enterprise is seen going from right to left rather than left to right.
Oh my god,
The other way
wow.
around.
That's really cool.
Either way, the opposite way, and it's very clever.
I totally missed the episode of Doctor Who where the Doctor and Rose and Mickey, they go to a different version of Earth or something. It was so weird. You have Pete Tyler still alive, you have Mickey's grandmother still alive. It's so weird, but it's a perfect thing. It's the best part of it. It was actually the first Cyberman.
I don't remember that.
I think it was the first episode of where they brought the Cyberman back. Yeah. So those of you who watch Doctor Who, there was an episode of Doctor Who Series 2 where the Doctor took Rose and Mickey. They somehow landed in a parallel Earth or something. It was like a wrong time jump or something, and the TARDIS ended up going to a different reality of Earth, and it was like a parallel Earth where everything's different. Rose's dad's still alive, Mickey's grandmother's still alive, all this amazing stuff, except the Cybermen are still, have returned somehow. It's weird, but it's awesome.
Mm-hmm.
So, that's just the explainer of what that is, and I think that's really cool, considering I'll be meeting David Tennant next month at Comic-Con. I'll be meeting him, so that'll be really cool. But it's just the idea of like, if you were to live in a different reality, how would that reality look? I mean, I don't really know why I'm saying that, but like, it'd be really cool to, like, a different Earth. It could be a different any of us. Like, we could be a different person on that Earth, or a different reality. How would that reality look? I think that's really interesting to think about, because you never know. I mean,
I sure hope there's another reality where I'm not such a piece of fucking shit.
don't tell that to yourself.
No multiple realities where you're not a piece of shit.
Yeah, I bet there
Thank
are.
God! I don't know how any of you guys tolerate my shit ass.
We do,
Mate,
because we're
I
crazy.
hear myself talk on a daily basis. Okay?
But, yeah.
How could I not tolerate you?
Oh my god, I was joking. You don't need to go into a giant rant about how awesome I am and how much you love me.
Aww.
But anyway, yeah, I don't know, I think the multiverse, especially when it was introduced in The Flash, was really interesting because it isn't just on The Flash, it's the idea of different, like, movies and TV shows, how it can impact where it could be a different realm, a different reality, a different Earth. Just think about that when you're watching movies, they could introduce that kind of thing. I mean, I don't know, I think the only thing they introduced is in the Marvel Universe, but it's a really interesting idea of what that could, I don't know if you've seen any TV shows that have that, but it's a really interesting thing. And also, I want to talk about a show that came out recently called Ant-Man and the Wasp that, again, it has to do with the not really the multiverse stuff, but also it kind of has to do with, like, the timeline stuff. Timeline is a really big issue in movies today because you don't know what's really going on. So, it came out, I think it was, a couple days ago? It was really good, but also really confusing because it comes out after Infinity War, the new Avengers movie, but yet it takes place beforehand. It's so weird. Like, it takes place, the timeline now is so weird.
So here's something I found with
Try
the
to
Marvel
listen to
movies.
the timeline.
Okay, I'm going to say this about the Marvel movies. They do not release them all in order.
Yeah, exactly.
They never have, they never will, and so quite frankly, the fact that that's released a little bit months before, the only reason why they're doing that is just because they were like, okay, let's release the big thing right now. And let's hype, woo, we love this stuff. Maybe Ant-Man's gonna be in it, maybe not, I don't know. But if he's in Infinity War, they're gonna be like, yay! And the Wasp, who's that? And then, hey, a few months later, Ant-Man the Wasp. Kind of
sounds like the prequel trilogy. They released it like about 20-something years after the originals.
Well, they also released all the movies backwards, so, you know.
But that's because the other one's in charge of planning.
In charge of planning, I was.
Basically, that's like what they're trying to do with Ant-Man the Wasp. It takes place a little beforehand, but it's nothing against them. If it takes place beforehand, what can you fucking do?
Yeah. Totally. People are really confused about it, that's all.
But anyway, can I say my thing?
Yeah, go ahead.
Can I say my thing? Okay, I don't know if any of my fellow podcasters on here are fans of this series or not, but if we have any fans listening that have seen any of the old Godzilla films.
I've seen a couple of them, yeah.
Talking about the American shit.
I know a guy in in my animation class last year, he would be all over this conversation right now.
I love the old Godzilla movies.
My friend David can put you to shame. I promise you. He can put anyone to shame with his Godzilla knowledge. Anyway, about the classic Shin Godzilla and all that, and the originals and
Godzilla's the new one.
Well, here's the thing. For those of you that have Netflix, have you seen the new Godzilla Monster Planet?
I have seen that it's on this anime of Godzilla's on Netflix. I haven't tried it out yet.
So yeah, that's Godzilla.
Oh, okay. I'm gonna have to look at that then.
I gotta say, I watched it the other day, and I really enjoy Godzilla stuff. I'm not like a super mega ultra uber fan like I am with Mass Effect and Star Wars, but I still really enjoy the storyline. I enjoy the monsters. My favorite one of all time, Gigan. Anyway, I gotta do a quick little 2-minute review of this movie.
Okay.
It was quite good at...
Don't spoil things, I still want to watch it.
I'm not, don't worry, I'm not. Anyway, I enjoyed quite a bit of it. I also have some issues with it in terms of, I guess kind of the scope and the way that they presented the information. Overall, it was a decent show. I really enjoyed it. I know that when they release part 2, I know for a fact I'm going to see it. I'm kind of, for lack of a better word, I'm nervously anticipating what they're going to do with the aliens in it. Because, and they say it very early on, I'm not going to say what, but basically the aliens in Planet X that are classic alien bugs, basically, that are in all the old classic Godzilla movies. They're the ones responsible for King Ghidorah, Gigan, some of the versions of Mechagodzilla and whatnot. They are the classic villains, the true villains against the heroes. The way that they had humanity and the aliens interact was very different and quite insightful, and some of the different plotting and whatnot going on. I'm looking forward to seeing how this thing is going to pan out. The big reveal at the very end of the movie, I'm not going to say what it is, do not worry, but yeah, let's just say I was shitting my pants with anticipation. I don't know. All I can say for this fact is I'm looking forward to the new one. I did have a couple of issues with it, but that would kind of go into spoiler territory, and I hope to God that they finally bring back Mechagodzilla and they don't go with the same way that we saw him earlier.
Nice.
God, that looks ugly. But that guy was just a little snip in the corner, and you see him in some of the trailers. So
Yeah, totally.
yeah, that's my 2 cents.
Yeah, I've seen that it's on Netflix. I just haven't really watched it yet. I had an episode of my review show on the 1993 or 4 Godzilla movie. I gotta say, I didn't hate it. I know people thought that was a terrible movie. I didn't hate it. There are a lot of movies on my review show or any movie that I'll watch where I watch it and everyone will be like, this was terrible. Like, I don't see the problem. Like, I reviewed the movie Son of the Mask. Apparently, everyone hated it. It got like 6%. I didn't think it was that. I thought it was a little weird, but I didn't completely hate it.
What was?
I reviewed a movie for my 99th episode of my review show. I reviewed a movie called The Son of the Mask, and it got 6%. I watched the anime review, and I'm like, it isn't that bad. I mean, it's not a good movie, but it's not that bad.
Yeah.
It's like, eh.
Bad doesn't mean it's not that good either.
Yeah, I mean, the thing is that, like, you know, RT, Rotten Tomatoes, people are like, oh, don't go see this movie, it's terrible. It's like, you don't know that until you've seen it. You can't just assume a movie's gonna be terrible by the reviews. You gotta actually see yourself.
As a reviewer, and as a fellow reviewer, Tom, you and I both said this. I've told you why I review the movies that I do and whatnot. But reviewers, they just are there to express their own personal opinion.
Yeah.
That's all that they are. And Rotten Tomatoes is the only thing, hey, a unanimous decision or a unanimous idea that all these people had that you guys might follow. Yada, yada, yada. That's all Rotten Tomatoes is.
Or we took a look at a channel like CinemaSins, where they take every movie and they make, you know, they find anything wrong with, like, I mean, thankfully a movie like Two Towers, Lord of the Rings, that got like maybe 22 sins, which was great, but they find every movie, even if it's amazing, and they find everything wrong with it. And it's like, I mean, not every movie, but quite a lot of the movies that are coming out, they just find every movie.
They also did V for Vendetta.
Yeah, exactly. It's just like, it's ridiculous. But like, yeah, I don't know, it's kind of annoying when people just say things about TV shows or movies. It's like, oh, this movie sucks. Like, it looked pretty good to me. I don't know what your problem is.
So another example of that I don't know if reviewers liked it or not, but a movie that I originally thought would be horrid, but my girlfriend Emily was actually over here, and just one night that she was over here, we were like, okay, what should we watch? And she said that the movie Trolls was actually rather good.
I actually seen that movie. Not bad.
I looked at her and was like, that? Seriously? It looks like absolute shit. It's, it was actually a damn good film.
Better than the Emoji Movie.
Oh, yeah.
I watched Everything Wrong with the Emoji Movie. I'm glad I didn't see that movie. It was awful. It was terrible.
Huh?
The Emoji Movie. I'm just talking about movies that suck
Yeah,
in
that
general.
was a bad movie.
I don't know what we did. We went off tangent here. I don't know why we did,
I
but
want to.
welcome to the Madhouse where we go off tangent a lot.
But that's what makes it fun.
Exactly. That's the point. But yeah, I don't know what I was thinking of. I was talking about the multiverse and we got there, but basically, I was just gonna ask you one last thing about the multiverse theory about TV movies, TV. Are there any movies / TV shows that you watch where it comes up, or if the characters go for a different reality where things are different? Has it ever come up with you guys or on TV shows or movies or anything like that?
Honestly, I mentioned mine thing
Yeah.
already.
Right. I mean, I think it's a really cool concept with movies and TV shows where they put the characters in a different reality, and sometimes it's like a dream or something, but not all the time. And the other thing is like, a different Earth or a different version of the character, like what they did with Once Upon a Time, where they had a different reality and they have new versions of characters. It's just the weirdest thing ever, and of course, I'm not going to go into Once Upon a Time because that season 6 and 7, there was a whole story gap where they didn't explain anything. So, for those of you who don't watch Once Upon a Time, basically it's a show, it's a fairy tale show. It's a really good show if you like fairy tales in Disney, basically. But, yeah, it's interesting, and of course, Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. is also another idea of a show where they have characters that were originally on another show or another property, and they got back to Marvel, like Ghost Rider, for example. That was pretty good, but, I don't know.
So, if you've ever seen the show Farscape, unfortunately I never had a chance to finish it before it was Farscape.
I just heard you said far, and I heard fart.
Unfortunately, I never had a chance.
Don't worry, you're not the only one. That's why I heard too.
It's an older show. I think it came out in like the early to mid 90s or somewhere in there. But it was actually a Jim Henson show. Jim Henson, the guy that did Muppets and whatnot.
Yeah.
But it's about this dude who gets sucked through a wormhole across space. He's in an unknown area. He's never seen it before. No idea what the fuck he is. No one's even heard of Earth in that area. But in that show, he meets a bunch of funky and wacky characters, always in different costumes and whatnot. It's not a kid's show, believe me. It's not a kid's show. I make it sound like that, but all the puppets and maps are actually rather amazing too, for the most part. But in a couple of the episodes,
Farscape. He said it's Farscape.
Or some alternate idea, what have you, of what's going on. And one of the characters in it, the actor, you can tell when this happens, he is having the time of his life. He plays this character called Drago, who's like this big, buff, super powerful warrior with a sword that can just slice through everything.
Wow.
And goes gunning and whatnot. He is the definition of an ultimate badass kind of thing, right? But the thing is, in a couple of the episodes, he kind of goes all... It's like, hi, how you doing? I don't know if he's having an acid trip or if it's an alternate reality, what have you. But in quite a few of these episodes where they go into an alternate idea or whatever, the actor has to act rather feminine.
Yeah.
And actually kisses one of the other actors, and just, you can tell that the time of his fucking life. And those episodes are actually my favorite one in the entire series, because you can see this big old baddie acting like a he acts gay, and it's hilarious. Then you see when the little characters feel like super badass with sword put the top down instead. But yeah, just saying.
Yeah, that's really interesting.
There's something wrong
You
with
said
that.
it was called
Oh,
Farscape?
no, I don't care if someone's gay at all. I don't care what someone is.
Why
you
are
do
you-
you. Let your freak fly, man.
That's really interesting though. It's called Farscape. I haven't really.
Yep.
I think I've seen it on Netflix somewhere, but I don't really know much about it.
Yeah, but they took it off a couple months ago.
Yeah,
Unfortunately,
yeah.
I didn't have ownership before it was.
That's unfortunate. But like an example, I mean, I was thinking like the example of the multiverse for me, or realities or whatever. It happened on Flash with Flashpoint, where Barry Allen went back in time to save his mom. Created Flashpoint where everything's different. And then of course it happened on with Supergirl. People were thinking, oh well, DC in DC, like it's on CBS, but the Flash and all that stuff, there's DC too. So couldn't they cross over and have a different Earth? It's like, oh, we can't do that, and then it's just like, well, I suppose we could try doing it, and eventually that's what happened. They made a crossover on a network crossover where they had Supergirl meet the Flash travel time, different dimension kind of thing, and it explained, oh, it's the multiverse, like he's a different Earth. And that's a really cool idea, because like a lot of the DC shows nowadays, I'm not gonna go into this again, but I'm just gonna say that an example, it's just the fact that the idea of the multiverse. When you add different shows, like any show, you have, like, it can be on a different Earth, but you can still travel to that Earth. It's pretty cool because he explained it in an episode, like, how the multiverse works, how you can different Earths to vibrate at different frequency, therefore they can't see one another, but you can still travel through time to get to that Earth. It's pretty cool, actually, because there's a lot of shows that do that now, and it's really cool. Especially with, like, if it's a different reality where you're dreaming or something. Imagine, like, a dream where you're dreaming, and it's like, this isn't real. I mean, I haven't been dreaming all the time, I imagine. Where it's like you dream and it's like, this isn't real. Because that's what dreams are, essentially. I feel like that's what I'm saying, is that, like, dreams are basically a different reality. I'm not kidding. Like, it happens all the time. Where you have a dream and it's a different reality. So basically...
A reality created in your brain.
Exactly. So in other words, a dream can be another reality. It's really quite interesting, actually.
The entire... What if the world that we know is all but a dream?
Ooh!
Jesus, this meme.
That could be pretty cool, actually. But yeah, it's really interesting how story works with different realities or different multiverses and stuff. It's really cool because, like I said before, with the Marvel universe, how anything that's not in the Marvel cinematic universe, it automatically is just another Earth. Like the X-Men movies that are coming out this year, those can be technically another Earth, even though they're not established in the MCU yet. They can still be part of like Earth X58, whatever you call it. I don't know, X23, I don't know. Something like that. They had a whole thing on Facebook where there was like all the Marvel movies before the MCU started, and it's like it had like all these designations. So, like I said before, the Tobey Maguire Spider-Man, he has a different Earth than the Garfield and the Fantastic Four movies. Two ones they made. They're on a different Earth than X-Men. It's really cool if you think about it, because just the idea of the multiverse in general, even though it's not connected to the MCU, it's a really cool idea. And I just thought that was really cool. That's all I can say about that. Is there anything else you guys had in mind to talk about before we end this, or don't want to keep talking, or what?
I gotta go.
You gotta go? Okay, well...
I think we pretty much covered it.
I'm pretty sure we covered it. I mean, if we run out of topics, that's it. That's the rule now. If we run out of topics, we're going to end the podcast there.
I mean, that's kind of a pretty common sense rule.
It's like, oh, what we're talking about? I don't know. Okay, let's end it. So yeah, thank you guys so much for listening to this episode of The Madhouse. We hope you enjoyed it. If you did, please hit the like button. We all really appreciate it. And if you're new to this channel, subscribe for more episodes of this podcast and other series that I do. Also, make sure you subscribe to bigdinoguy, Steve Kovoc, and Chakky. The links will be in the description of those channels. Check them out. And
don't forget to hit the notifications button.
Oh yeah, make sure you click that bell so you won't miss a single episode, because we have episodes every week. So yeah, thank you again for listening, and we'll be back next week with another episode. Alright, bye-bye.
Bye.
Bye.
See ya.